every time a new format comes about, you're there's kind of this wait and see period to see if it's actually going to make it. Is it going to be the next Blu-ray or is it going to be the next CED Laserdisc? Some that make it, some that don't. We can say at this point that 4K actually has made it and become kind of the preferred uh, route for like a lot of collectors, and definitely becoming the preferred route for a lot of boutique labels that have now gone all in on 4K. William Lustig himself kind of got it early when he started doing them with Blue Underground. So today I'm going to show you five of my very favorite 4K horror releases with a slight bit of cheating. So I'll see you there. Hi there, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that the mighty gods of the YouTube algorithm do not smite me down where I'm sitting right now. Anywho, let's dive right into this and look at the releases. And I said there's a little bit of cheating. You're going to find out what exactly I mean in a second. I've chosen five 4K horror releases because one, horror is my favorite genre. Two, I love 4K. And I remember the very first time how we got into 4K in the first place. And it's thanks to Xbox, actually. On Black Friday, my better half had surprised me with a Xbox One S. And the Xbox One S was the first of the Xboxes at the time to do 4Ks. How the competition, PlayStation 4 at the time, even though they were the ones that kind of invented 4Ks, you couldn't play 4Ks on a PlayStation 4. You could play them on an Xbox. And man, did we really get excited about that. The same day we were going around to Best Buy, and I think The Mummy is what we picked up on 4K. We didn't have a 4K TV at the time either. We just said, okay, once we get a 4K TV, because it was the same price as a Blu-ray. Now we know why. I actually kind of enjoyed it. We just said, okay, once we get a 4K TV, at least we'll have a couple 4Ks to watch on it when we initially get it. That very night, we came home, got everything ready. We went to bed. Um, I stayed up a little bit later than my better half, and I wanted to watch some TV, and I didn't want to wake her up. So I went into the guest room, turned on some stuff to watch, and promptly fell asleep around like 3:30 in the morning. Early that next morning, my better half was on the foot of my bed, on the foot of the bed, like kind of tapped me on the shoulder. I said, I thought something was wrong first, but no, it was because 4K TVs had just gone on sale. She wanted me to research them because we were about to buy one. So that's how we got into the whole 4K thing, and we didn't look back. We love 4K, and for us at a time when we were kind of stuck home for a bit, you all know what that was about. Uh, 4K became really good because for the less than the price of what it would cost for us to both go to the movie, get some popcorn, all that type of stuff, we could buy a 4K release of a new film. Just wait a bit and like buy the 4K release and get it and watch it on our big screen, much in the same way you would in a theater. And we really, really enjoy doing that. So here we go. Without further ado, I've stalled long enough. Here are five of my favorite horror releases. Now, the first one doesn't, I, it's not really horror. It's not a horror in the kind of the sense of the word. It's more drama, but there's certain aspects of the horror genre that I think fits into this, even though the film itself is not horror. And I wanted to put it in here because I couldn't think of any other category that this one might fit in, and that is David Cronenberg's romance, Crash. It is definitely a very unique film. This was put up by Arrow Video. It's one of my favorite 4Ks that they put out. I don't have any of their Argento ones yet, though. I do want to get those down the road. It's just getting to the point where I have to get the stuff that I don't have before I get the stuff that I'm double dipping on. And you want to make sure because if you're going to spend money and funds are kind of limited, you want to make sure you expand your library as opposed to just doing your library. But this one here, but there are some exceptions, and you'll find out in a second what those are. But Crash is a really good release. I'm not sure if you guys would call it horror, but I'm pretty sure you would. But I'm going to because this is my video. What the heck, right? Next up is a Blue Underground release, and you know that they do some of the best 4K releases out there. They just do incredible stuff. So right here is Lucio Fulci's House by the Cemetery. I love this movie. I have this one in many different formats, but this is definitively the best version of House by the Cemetery you're ever going to see. So if you don't own this movie and you got a 4K player and a 4K TV, get it right away. If you're a huge fan of 4K, right, and House by the Cemetery, and you already have it, I still recommend picking it up. If you've never seen House by the Cemetery, pick it up like this. And if you just are a huge fan of House by the Cemetery and want it in the best possible way, also pick it up like this. It is a 2 disc set, a lot of carried over features and stuff like that. But that being said, this is the best this movie has ever looked, and it is incredibly mind blowing when you see the difference between the last release even and that 4K release. Next up is New York Ripper. Again, another one of my favorite films I have in many different versions. I just love this film. It is ultra sleazy and weird and kind of was kind of controversial at the time. And you got a killer that talks like Donald Duck. I'm not joking. That's in the film. Uh, but again, you can see it's a Lucio Fulci film. I love Fulci. I love Blue Underground stuff. And these are two great releases. I do have a couple other Blue Underground ones in here. So if you don't consider Crash to be horror enough for you, just replace it with Maniac, which is over there with Joe Spinell. Also a great 4K release. So next up is going to be the number 4 video here, and that number 4 4K here. That is Demons 1 and 2, put up by Synapse. Now this was also put up by Arrow as well. I chose to get the Synapse edition of it. I just I just really love these movies. My better half actually picked me up the Steelbook Arrow edition of 1 and 2, which is a gorgeous edition. I'll never get rid of it, and it looks utterly fantastic. Um, but when it comes time to upgrade to my favorite films, all these here that I've upgraded: New York Ripper, House by the Cemetery, The Demons, like Duology 1 and 2. Those are all some of my favorite films that I not only do I watch, but I watch them multiple times over and over again. So to get some of the best films that you love in your collection in the best possible format, the best sound, the best picture, who doesn't want that? Again, there's a ton of like features on here. Like we got like US cuts, original full length, like the Italian cut of Demons on here. A whole list of features. These are two. This is a UHD set, so two 4K discs in here, as opposed to having them both put on one. It is loaded with stuff. There's even like there's a reproduction of the movie ticket from Demons. There's a reproduction. There's a Demons 2 birthday party invitation. There's a folded poster of this artwork right here. So just some really great stuff. A fantastic edition. Snaps does really great work when it comes to the 4Ks as well, much like Blow Underground. Snaps also did a 4K of Phenomenon and a 4K of Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. And I know Phenomenon had a poster, a photo poster like this one. And I think Living Dead at Manchester Morgue had something similar to that as well, but I'd have to look into it a little bit more. But definitely a high recommendation on this one here. And this next one here is where I really cheat because I couldn't choose just one of these because all of these are fantastic. One of my favorite series of movies of all time franchises, it's the Halloween series. I grew up with them. I grew up seeing them, watching them. I remember watching the first Halloween film. I like to say in theater, but it wasn't, I don't think, 1978. I probably saw it I know I did see it on NBC, and it was like the TV cut of the film. And I remember before it was coming out, like days before, there'd be like these spooky commercials. And there'd be this like narrator, like the really cool, like movie, like trailer narrator guy at the time with the deep, scary voice. And they'd show scenes from Halloween, and you'd hear the music, the John Carpenter iconic score. I was terrified every time that the trailer came on, let alone waiting. But that being said, this horror fanatic kid, even though the trailer alone terrified him, was waiting and waiting for it to see that show up on NBC. And I remember sitting down and watching it. I remember where I was at. I remember where my mom was living at the time. I remember the commercials, and it has always stuck with me. So that being said, this is one of my favorite franchises. I don't have them all, but I do have 4 of them, and they are all amazing, incredible, fantastic releases. First up is the Halloween. Oh, that's not first up. That's number 4. Is Halloween, the collector's edition of the original one. This is a 3-disc set. It's got 1 UHD and 2 Blu-rays. What's really neat about this one here is we get the Cut Above the Breast documentary, the Halloween Unmasked 2000 documentary. We get the Halloween, the extended cut in HD with the TV inserts included. That is something that I really wanted because, again, the first time I saw it was on TV. So I didn't get to see anything you like seeing when I initially saw this film. But again, really, really love this movie. I love the artwork, artwork that was done on this, and I love these here hard boxes that they're using. Next up is, of course, Halloween 2. Again, another 3-disc set. Halloween 2 does have the television cut of Halloween 2 on here, as opposed to as well as the theatrical cut. So you get both cuts of the film. In Halloween, they gave you an extended cut with the TV scenes added in. I would have actually liked if they would have done the television cut of Halloween 2 as opposed to putting the TV scenes into the original Halloween. But this one here does have the television cut in on here as well. It is a really great scan of the film. There's some really great stuff on here, and definitely recommend it. Again, it's got the great hard box, and on the inside you have the original artwork for the films. So I didn't show that in the first one, so I will show that really quickly. Next up, you're going to think it's 3, right? But 3 has been impossible for me to find. I keep trying to find it, but it just keeps eluding me. But I do have number 4. I remember when number 4 came out. I remember the horror magazines kind of making a big deal, but okay, it's a return to form. Michael Myers is back, because some people felt cheated because 3 was a totally different film, almost trying to set off an anthology series for Halloween, which unfortunately didn't work. Now number 3 is considered one of the greats, but back then, not so much. People walked out of the theater during number 3. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, done by Dwight Little, really brings it back to form. And kind of like what J.J. Abrams did when he started the Star Wars franchise, restarted after the kind of controversial prequels. Dwight Little takes to the thing of like playing with the hits, like working with a lot of stuff that's already there, bringing back a Jamie, kind of a kind of Jamie type character, and a Jamie Lee Curtis type character, Laurie Strode type character. They don't bring her back, but they have her daughter, as well as having a Jamie Lee Curtis type of character with Ellie Cornell's character, Rachel. This is, again, a really good one, a great new mix on here, Atmos mix. So with these here, I do recommend down the road, if you get yourself a nice, if you don't have it, you got a 4K player, like you got one a good soundbar, or just a soundbar that can play like Dolby Atmos, you will reap the benefits in these here releases. Last but not least is Halloween 5. I know this gets a ton of hate, but this is actually super cool. One thing, this includes the original opening for Halloween 5, because the opening for Halloween 5 was different, completely different. Like person takes him in. There's a whole like satanic like guy that comes in at the beginning, kind of a Dr. Death character, and it's actually really cool. And this is honestly one of the best looking out of all the original 5 transfers that were put out for Halloween. I think this may be the best looking out of all 5 of them. It has a great new 2021 Dolby Atmos mix as well. We get a fantastic scan of the OCN here, a ton of great features, and one of the few that actually has new features listed on it. I don't think they listed on the back here. That scene with the Dr. Death character is actually in here on Halloween 5, and that was a really big deal. So there you go. Have you been thinking about or are getting into 4K in any genre? If you are or you have been, comment down below in what's intrigued you about 4K, or what's put you off so far. Has it been the price, or are you glad that the prices on 4K TVs and 4K players are starting to go down? Are you glad that the new generation of video game consoles, both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and Series X, actually play 4K releases? Has that kind of moved you over to getting a 4K, much in the same way that the PlayStation 3 brought a lot of people into the Blu-ray genre? And maybe you want to give some suggestions down below for some 4K horror, and you want to take me to task for putting Crash in there and sneaking in 4 Halloweens in a 5 movie recommendation. But when you really think about it, with the 4 Halloweens, you still have the 5 horror there. You just got an extra 4K release. And I did mention Maniac off camera, so there you go. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank my amazing patrons. And everybody have a fantastically wonderful day. Give a special shout out to my patrons. You guys keep this thing going. You're amazingly awesome. And hope to see you guys there in the next video.